Hey guys, welcome back. Kara Corey here. Today we are in my kitchen and I am super excited to share with you guys some super easy recipes that you can incorporate. I absolutely love cooking and baking in the fall time when it gets like chilly and crispy out. I don't know, it just really makes me want to get back in the kitchen to start cooking. And if you guys are anything like me, time is of the essence. I am a busy, busy girl, so I need some very quick, simple recipes that are gonna fill me up, that are healthy and nutritious, and easy to cook. So that's what I'm gonna share with you guys today. 3 super easy recipes. Let's jump on in. The first meal I'm going to show you how to make is a full sheet pan autumn meal. So it's very simply just a full meal baked on a sheet pan, which is why I love it, because it's throwing everything onto one pan, all the ingredients you need, cook it together, and you've got a full-on meal. I'm taking chicken breasts and I'm drizzling them with some avocado oil and some garlic paste. Next, I'm just cutting up some fresh herbs. These are just poultry seasoning. You can really season this however you like, but fresh herbs really add a nice flavor to it. So I went ahead, added all that to the chicken, and I just kind of massage in all the flavors together. And this is a simple step, but I just kind of toss it in a bag and set it aside so it just can kind of absorb that flavor while we're cutting up everything else we need. Next, I'm going to go ahead and cut up a Honeycrisp apple. This adds a little bit of fruit and sweetness to the recipe. This is optional. You could use a different fruit or you could omit totally. And then I have some onion we are adding and some kabocha squash that I already had cut up in the fridge. We're going to take our sheet pan, and I went ahead and I sprayed it with some non-stick cooking spray, and then I went ahead and added all the vegetables on there, the apples, the onions, and next I had some pre-cut shredded Brussels sprouts that I'm adding on top of this. You could always add in full Brussels sprouts if you want, or cut them up yourself however you like them, or swap in any other vegetable you prefer. Next, you're going to want to drizzle it with a little more oil. I'm using avocado oil and seasoning with garlic sea salt. Adding a little bit more oil to this just to make sure everything's covered completely, and I'm just massaging in all the oil and the seasonings. Next, we're going to go ahead and place our chicken on top. Just kind of scooch it on in there with your veggies. And for final seasoning, I am adding in some onion salt, I believe it is, from Trader Joe's. And then you're just going to go ahead, add that to your oven, bake it at 450 degrees for about 30 to 35 minutes, and you will end up with this beautiful autumn meal. All these flavors really just blend together lovely, and it's going to make you several meals that will last you through the work week. This one is my staple turkey chili recipe that I have every single fall, and I keep it very simple using mostly canned ingredients, which you'll see here. You don't have to do it that way, but out of convenience, I prefer using this method. It does make it a little bit higher in salt, but if high blood pressure isn't a concern for you, then this is still a relatively very healthy, high fiber meal, high protein, very low fat. So we're going to start out by cutting up our fresh bell pepper and some fresh white onion. I like to add about a half a cup of fresh onion and a full cup of red bell pepper. Next, we're going to head over to the stove top, and you're going to want to use a bowl or pan large enough that's going to fit all your ingredients. Hindsight, I probably could have used an even bigger skillet pan for this, but you're going to go ahead and first brown up your meat. I'm using 1 pound of turkey breast. You could also sub in some beef if you prefer a beef chili. Since I am using the 99% lean, there isn't really a lot of fluid that occurs in this. Sometimes if you're doing a beef, you may want to drain out the juices before you add everything to it. We're going to start adding in ingredients. So first we're going to add in the red bell pepper and the fresh onion. Next up, I like to use this chili bean red beans that are already in a mild chili sauce by Bush's Beans. So I like to use all of that. The sauce, I think, just gives it a really nice flavor. Next, I'm adding a half cup of corn because I love corn in my chili, a half a cup of already rinsed black beans, a half a cup of tomato sauce, and then a half a cup of tomatoes, and they're also in a little bit of sauce too. So you're going to want to go ahead, stir it around, and everyone's chili preference is a little bit different. Sometimes I like it a little thicker, other times I like to add in more sauce, as you're seeing here, and more tomatoes, just to make it a little bit more soupy, more chili-like. Go ahead and mix that all together. Just let it continue to heat up, and I'm adding in here just a tablespoon of some of that McCormick's chili seasoning because I just really like the flavors of it. You can certainly use your own chili seasoning. You can add your own spices, salt, pepper, garlic, you name it. But go ahead, mix that in there, let all those flavors blend together and heat up, and you have a quick, easy, healthy meal that will last you through the week, and it also freezes very nicely too if you need to save it. You guys know I have to throw a dessert in here, so this is my protein pumpkin pie, but it doesn't have to be ate as a dessert. It's actually also great if you want to eat it for breakfast or a snack. So we're gonna make this with protein, obviously, so I'm using the MTS pumpkin pie protein. We're gonna start with a bowl and we're gonna add 2 scoops of the protein in there. 1 full can of pure pumpkin. I choose the organic variety, so throw that guy all in there. And then we're measuring out 12 ounces of milk, and I use the unsweetened cashew milk. It works very well in this recipe. You can really use whatever milk that you normally use, whether it's dairy or non-dairy. 3/4 a cup of liquid egg whites we're gonna add in there next. For seasoning, I like to use pumpkin pie spice. I'm using about a tablespoon of that and a tablespoon of baking vanilla. You could also throw in some cinnamon as well if you like. And to sweeten her up, I like to add 3/4 a cup of Splenda. Now you're gonna notice this is very soupy looking, very watery looking. You might get a little nervous that you screwed something up. You haven't, so it's okay. You're just gonna wanna take your time, continue whisking it. I'm just using a fork, but if you have a wire whisk, use that as well. Whisk it up as much as you can. There may be a couple lumps and bumps, and that's okay. I promise you it's gonna bake out. And what you're gonna do once you have that fully blended is go ahead and add that into a greased pie dish. I use nonstick cooking spray for my pie dish, and that works absolutely fine. So once you have all the ingredients in there, you're gonna wanna throw that in the oven at 350 degrees, and you are gonna need to let that bake for 50 to 55 minutes. I do find that the pie tastes better after it's chilled for a night, so I do recommend, if you can, bake this ahead of time. I just think the flavors end up coming together better after it's chilled for a night. All right, guys, that's gonna wrap up all 3 recipes. I hope that one of these is something that maybe you want to recreate at home. Just remember, each and every recipe I shared with you today can be modified. You can very simply add in different ingredients that you enjoy more so than what I used. Very versatile type stuff here. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you do want to see more quick and easy fall recipes, be sure to comment that below, and also let me know what you plan on making from what I shared with you today. Don't forget to subscribe before you guys head on out of here. Hit the post notification bell, and we'll see you in the next one.